Howdy, folks. This is Carlin Freiberger. I am a leadership specialist for the San Antonio Independent School District GT program. And today we're going to talk about the creative design cycle. When we look at this, we're going to focus on three main terms. The first one is imagination, the second one is creativity, and the third one is innovation. I created this graphic to show how the three are different but can be used together in a cycle to help you solve problems. So let's start with definitions first. Imagination. When you were a little kid, you could pretend that you were anything or anybody or anywhere, and you didn't have limitations on what was possible. You just thought whatever you wanted to think. You could throw a little bit of crazy in there, and your ideas were generally wild. That's imagination. There's no limitations. They're unbridled thoughts, and it doesn't have to be realistic. Creativity is different from innovation. Creativity is coming up with ideas that have purpose or that have value. They have to be useful in some way. And to be creative, those ideas need to be unique or original to you. Innovation is like the next level. That is when you take those creative ideas and you actually apply them. You make them realized ideas. So you put them together and actually follow them through. So let's go through the creative design cycle and I'll explain each part and how they work together. First, you see the little guy on the bottom left corner there? He's thinking. He's engaged. He's thinking. He is interested in something. He's focused on something. That's engagement. When you're engaged with something, you start to consider possibilities, ideas, all kinds of wild thoughts, and that's using your imagination. At the point when you start to wonder about things or become curious about things, or my favorite, ask, what if there were dinosaurs in the playground? Then you start to develop a problem, and the problem can be a statement or a question. At that point, when you have a problem, then you start automatically thinking of ideas of how to solve that problem. When you do this, you're thinking divergently. That means you're diverging from just a single point. So you're diverging from a problem, you're coming up with all kinds of ideas for possibilities of what those solutions could look like. So you come up with multiple ideas. At that point, after you have all these ideas, you gather facts, you gather resources, you get perspectives from people, and you think convergently. So you can converge on a solution to your problem. And you might take a couple of those ideas and combine them. You might take different parts of them and combine them, or just one idea might have done it for you, and you got the solution. At this point, you could stop and tell people your solution and let somebody else carry it out. Or if you're in this by yourself or in a group and you need to carry that solution through, then you use innovation. And when you use innovation, that means you apply the solution to your circumstances. So again, you think divergently. What could that solution realized look like? Does it look like this? Does it look like that? And you're thinking divergently. You're looking for options. You try them. That's when you experiment and you come up with all kinds of prototypes, plans, sketches, that kind of thing. And then you convergently think about them and you test them and you make decisions on what is the best option for you. That's when you have your product. Once you have your product, usually you get somebody to try it out and you get feedback from them so you can go back and experiment a little bit more and refine it. So you got a little bit of refining going on with your product. Again, at this point, you could stop and say, I've got my product, I've solved the problem, I had this solution, I carried it through. Or you could share your ideas with other people. And when you share your ideas, you could sell those ideas to other people for money or for not. They might just take your idea and want to do it too. That's called entrepreneurship, when you're selling your ideas and you're getting other people to buy into the product that you created. When you're an entrepreneur, you get consumers. They're consuming your product. Again, they give you feedback and you might have to go back and redesign things. So if you come up with alternatives, like maybe this product is good for one group and another product might be good for another, you go back to the experimentation. Maybe one of your prototypes was might be appropriate for what you're looking for. Or if you have to troubleshoot or it needs improvements, then you might go back down to the problem. There's a problem with the product. How do I solve it? Look for solutions and then refine the project. Or it might just get you thinking crazy, like, oh, what about this possibility? I could try this. It makes me think of this. And then you go back down to imagination with your wild ideas. You find a different problem and you go. So that is the creative design cycle. I hope you learned a little bit about the differences between imagination, creativity, and innovation today.